is often celebrated as a global model for professional management, showcasing how disciplined leadership, strategic planning, and innovative policies drive sustainable success. Let's follow the discussion of professional management, key lessons from Singapore, led by Dr. Hooi Den Huan, co-founder of AMF Foundation, author and researcher. So Dr. Hooi, the time is yours.
Yeah. Thank you. So I would like to show some slides regarding this topic. Can we go to our slides? Yep. So I was given this title, Professionalism as well as Management. So where does this come from? Actually, just to give everyone the overall picture, this is from the book Entrepreneurial Marketing. And just now we have heard already about speakers talking about creativity, innovation, entrepreneurship, leadership, as well as productivity and improvement. So my talk will be focusing on professional management. Okay. So this really comes from this model, the Omni House model, and this model is included in this book. I was very privileged to be invited as a co-author, but I must say all credit goes to Jackie as well as the whole MarkPlus team. So this is the book from where it comes from. Okay, now don't be frightened when you see all these words. Actually, the organizer, Giovanni, told me you must address all these questions. So within 20 minutes, I said, can you give me 200 minutes? But as a marketer, we will adapt to any situation. To make it easier, so what I'm going to do is to highlight those as I go along. So these are the questions I must address. Okay, what is the secret behind Singapore's success? But let me just add one thing. While Singapore is successful, there are many more countries that are even more successful. So this is important to bear that in mind. So let us just look at what I was told to cover. What is the secret behind Singapore's success in cultivating exceptional managers and professionals? So I was told, so what are the lessons that maybe we can share? So to address this, actually 3 keywords. How do you cultivate exceptional managers? And these 3 words actually are drawn from MarkPlus. Learn, share, teach. So Singapore is very lucky that it has 37,000 international companies from all over the world. So this is where Singaporean managers actually learn from all over the world. And then there's a lot of sharing because a lot of MICE events are held, and as well as teach. In other words, when we look at it, there is a consensus effort. It's called the Skills Future Programs. So this is something that is being implemented, and everyone has been encouraged to learn. Okay. So then the next question is, why do many headquarters of big companies choose Singapore? So this is a question that I was asked to address. And there are many reasons for that. Okay. So actually, the Singapore brand, word of mouth, but very importantly, as a marketing man, actually a lot of efforts are used to try to market the country. So these are the 9 core elements that Pak Hermawan mentioned about marketing. In other words, segmentation, targeting, positioning. The Economic Development Board, they conscientiously map the industry, conscientiously select which are the industries to go for. So given a small country, industries that the country aims for are the knowledge-intensive industries. And for the knowledge-intensive industry, so Singapore will identify within this particular industry, for example, pharmaceutical industry, who are the players to attract. So in other words, there's a consensus effort and positioning of it. Then of course, you need to have the differentiation. You need to have the good product. So what are the good product? Tax incentives, infrastructure, offer of connectivity, political stability, safety. So these are all the product features to try to attract the foreign investments into that. And selling is really building relationship. So actually what the government does is just like in the private enterprise. You need to market, you need to have good segmentation, targeting, positioning, differentiation, marketing, mix selling, and of course you need to have a good brand, service, and process. Okay. Then I was asked, so these are the questions. I'm very obedient. The organizer said you must address these questions, so that's why my presentation is focused on addressing these questions. So one of the things that I was asked is, how does the Singaporean management style differ from other countries? May not be totally different, but each country, I think, will have its own particular circumstances. So how would the Singaporean management style be? It's actually a blending of the East and the West. And why is there a blending of the East and the West? The history of Singapore, former British colony, the English language and laws are used. There are many Western companies in Singapore. But yet at the same time, it is a multiracial, multi-religious society, Confucianism and Asianism, because Singapore is part of Asia. And there are so many Asian companies from India, from Japan, from Korea, from China, from within Southeast Asia as well. So all these together actually shape the management practices. Then authority and accountability. The hallmarks of the management style is managers are given the authority, but you have to be accountable. Accountable actually not only for results, but accountable to take care of your people as well. Then, so these are some of the typical Singaporean cultural traits that was given by the organizer. Kia su, kia po, kia si, kia cheng hu. Actually, when you look at all these characteristics, they are quite universal. Just an example, fear of wife. Any man who dares here to say they are not fearful of their wife, the fact that I am here still alive is because I follow very closely to this. Okay. So it's really pretty universal. Of course, the extent may differ. Individuals may differ. So then, how do these influence management practices? Then again, actually, if you look at the whole system, in Singapore, a meritocratic system is adopted. That means it doesn't matter what is your background. Whether you can be promoted, whether you will do well is based on your merits. And because of a meritocratic system, it's very achievement-oriented, highly competitive. So the management practices there is that if you have a highly competitive environment, and if your rewards are based on merit, you will want to try and do your best. So that has a very big influence on that. Then, two other questions. What are the secrets of the management style developed by Lee Kuan Yew? Actually, quite interestingly, I talked to a senior government officer and I asked him, what is it, how would you describe working under Lee Kuan Yew? And he said, actually, it can be summed up in one word: properly. So, what in other words he means is that actually, what is expected of you is you do things, do proper things, and do things properly. So that key word, I say it's very simple. As what Palmer once said, keep it simple, stupid. Don't have to use a lot of guidelines or whatever. So the insistence on is the word proper. Okay. There was also a question that was asked and about Singapore Airlines. So this is very interesting. Guess who is the person who started Singapore Airlines and who brought it to what it is today? And he's still alive today. Actually, Singapore Airlines was started by none other than a civil servant, a government servant. So, and who was that government servant? He was none other than the right-hand man of Lee Kuan Yew, and his name is Joe Pillay. So Joe Pillay is the person who actually brought Singapore Airlines to what it is today. And so how did he do it? One key word. That's why in marketing we always say innovations. When we talk about innovations, there are 4 types of innovation: product innovation, position innovation, process innovation, and paradigm innovation. And he actually began a paradigm innovation, because prior to that, air travel is about transportation, bringing a person from point A to point B. But Joe Pillay introduced the concept of experience, where flying is an experience, it's not just a transportation. So actually, and because of that, then you find that when you go on board the aircraft, you get good meals, the aircraft is wonderfully maintained and everything. So that plays a big part. Then the last part that is I'm asked is, how does Singapore excel in Asia, ASEAN despite the limited resources? So let me just give everyone the context. But having said so, after you have listened to me, you will feel that, wow, Singapore has done very well. I must say, as I mentioned, many other countries have done very well. Today, for example, the economic growth rate of Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam is greater than Singapore's growth rate. So please don't see that this is the only successful country. So just to give everyone the context, when we bring ourselves back to the 60s, Singapore was a very, very poor country. Very, very poor country indeed. GDP was $516. Very, very low indeed. So most people were living in this type of conditions in the 60s. Okay, but what happened? So Lee Kuan Yew had a strategic vision. And what is the vision? To transform a poor and tiny third world country to a first world country. So that is important, because if we want to answer the question, what are the factors that led to Singapore's success? One of them is having a strategic vision. But of course, that alone is not enough. That has really brought the country's GDP up. And today, one of the fruits of the results is that more than 90% of the population own their own homes. And of the people who own their own homes, 80% live in government housing. And government housing today, especially, I would say, is really comfortable, very comfortable. Okay. So, to give us the context, actually Singapore is very small. If you look at it, this is the airport. The airport already occupies such a big portion already. And then east to west is only 49 kilometers. For many airports, from the airport to the city is more than 49 kilometers. And this is NTU, where I was a professor. NTU itself occupies 1/200 of the country, 0.5%. No other university occupies such a high percentage of a country. Okay. And whenever I have professors or overseas students coming to NTU, I say, congratulations, you have seen the whole country. And from the whole country, from Changi Airport to NTU, is less than 1 hour. So it's really, really a very, very tiny country. Tiny, tiny. And not only that, if you look at the number of people, citizens, 3.6 million, is also a very small population. Okay, so what would you say are the factors? Within these 20 minutes, I can't cover everything, so I list down the most important. We have talked about strategic vision already, which is important. But actually, when you look at this, even a lot of lessons can be drawn for the private sector by looking at the public sector. So apart from the strategic vision, actually one of the biggest success factors for Singapore is that the government is viewed as being entrepreneurship, not just administration. And why is that important? What do we mean by that? So just an example, a government officer was saying we are 100% government, but in terms of operational discipline, we are run like private industry. And if I may share my own opinion, my own experience, I was director of the Nanyang Technopreneurship Center. It's a public university. But the way I run it is I'm running it, I see that I have a market to satisfy, I have competitors to deal with, I have changes in the environment to adjust to. And at the end of the day, like most government officers, I know how I will be assessed is what changes have you brought. So in other words, maintaining status quo is a failure. You have to bring significant changes to be acknowledged. And then secondly, if you look at it as an example, very few governments, not every government pay their officers competitive salaries and bonuses. In some governmental agencies, bonuses of 6 months can be paid. Even in the university where I was working, I'm paid a bonus, professors are paid bonus, depending on your performance bonus. So it varies. And in other words, what is very important is that if we want an organization to be very successful, we have to run it with an enterprising mindset. That's why, as I say, entrepreneurship does not belong to entrepreneurs alone. Okay, continuous transformation. So this is very important. Any organization, any company must continuously transform, especially in a root environment. And what is a root environment? So this is a term that I coined when I spoke at the United Nations. Park Hermawan was there. So at the United Nations, there was an entrepreneurship forum. And I mentioned, so this is, we are all in a root environment. And in a root environment, what would we need to do? Status quo will kill you. Sometimes it's not competition. So creatively destroy what is no longer relevant, identify new growth areas. So this is a model, and this model is derived from a book called Crisis and Renewal. So this will be important, and if we look at one of the factors why Singapore is successful is it's always continuously transformed. It doesn't stay still. It doesn't stay still. So just an example, if we talk about the airport, a few years ago, Terminal 4 was built. Just a couple of years ago, Jewel was built. Okay, so but the thing is, what next? So the important thing to think about it is that continuous transformation. For those of you who go to Singapore, you will find there's a lot of construction that is going on right now in the airport. And what is the construction for? So the construction for is for Terminal 5. So this is Terminal 1, Terminal 2, Terminal 3, Terminal 4. When Terminal 5 is ready, it will be as big as 1, 2, 3, 4 combined together. So that will be the next exciting phase. But not only that, that is on the east side of the island. A lot of people are not aware, at the west end of the island is a huge port that is now being built. And with this huge port, all the existing ports will be moved there. So which means a lot of land will be freed up for even more creation. This is Marina Bay Sands. Many of you would have been to Marina Bay Sands. You can have many, many Marina Bay Sands once that is done. So I don't have enough time. I just want to mention that it's always transformation ongoing. So right now, there's a committee for the future economy, and this is being implemented. So I've been told that time is up. So I want to add one more thing. To me, if you want to be a successful organization, you cannot be good in just two things. You've got to be good in all those various 8 elements. And that's why there's very important, Mr. Taman, now he is our president. He was a minister of education before. And he has said, even for the young people, the next generation must be both innovative and entrepreneurial. Okay? So I'm coming to the end. The world is changing. Are you? And if you are not 1 step ahead, you are 2 steps behind. But I love what Mahatma Gandhi says, you must be the change you wish to see in this world. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Dr. Hooi Den Huan, co-founder of AMF Foundation, author and researcher for the 10th ASEAN Marketing Summit. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about China, where as businesses strive for competitive advantage, mastering the pillars of quality, cost, delivery, and service has become essential. And today we'll draw valuable insights from China, a global leader in operational innovation and also efficiency, exploring how their strategies and practices can inspire our own journey toward excellence. So without further ado, let's welcome the discussion of operational excellence, inspirations from China, led by Mr. Tiger Chow, CEO of Kotler Marketing Group China. To Mr. Tiger Chow, the time is yours.
Thank you, Herman's invitation. That's my first time, number 1, 2, 3, first time come to the Market Conference. You know, we met several times, right? Once a year. Good. Yeah. So today I want to share with you the operational excellence inspiration from China. But when we talk about this topic, I give you the content. It's a very abnormal, not like you traditionally think about operational excellence. I'm going to talk about new marketing perspective on the operational excellence, because marketing has Philip Kotler published the first book, Marketing Management, back to the 1967. From today, Professor Kotler just finished his 17th edition of the Marketing Management book. So in the past, over 50 years, marketing changed a lot. In the very beginning, in the first edition of marketing, it's only around 100, over 100 pages. They don't have a 4 piece. The marketing, in the first book, the marketing is about promotion, about advertisement, about how you make a smart sales. But right now, marketing, the marketing book, we so-called Bible of modern marketing, have a 700 pages thick. Yeah. So there are a lot of things change in the marketing. Let's see,